I've been teaching in Maningrida for 5 years. I came up with my partner from Melbourne. Prior to that, I worked as a music teacher. I travelled across all different schools in the top end. That was a great experience because I got to see worked in about 15 different communities across the top end, and that was mostly focused on bringing music out to kids who don't get a music program. When we came to Maningrida, I went into a classroom and took on a general primary school teacher role. There's a real sense of community in Maningrida. Once you're here and once you're here for a little bit, everyone wants to know who you are. They go out of their way to make sure that they know who you are and to make sure that you know who they are, and where everyone fits in the community. You get taken in to the communities. They're very inclusive in Maningrida. So, if you are going to be here for an extended period of time, you most likely will get a skin name and you'll be told, how you then relate to other people in the community, which I think is really important because it makes you feel that you're not an outsider, that you are included.
So Hawker's cart, that's right.
As well as that, Maningrida is also a big community, so there is a big support network. There's 40 teachers at Maningrida College, so there's a lot of teachers who are going through the same thing as you. You can talk to about issues you might be having in a community, and it's a beautiful place. You can get out and you can see just some of the most beautiful country just on a Saturday drive. Just ask a family, is it okay if we go out to your country? And sometimes they'll even come out with you, which is excellent because they can teach you some things while you're out there. And there's some absolutely stunning parts of the world out here.
They ransacked a hawker's cart.
I've got 6 non-EALD learners in my class. The rest of my cohort is English as a 3rd, 4th, 5th language. And so I'm always amazed at just how much progress they can make, especially if they keep coming every day. So there's students who are now almost nudging benchmark for their literacy, which is a really great success story. One thing you realise out here, or in an ESL context, is just how inherent the language demands are, not just in English, but in maths, in science, right across the school day. These kids are having to engage in an academic way in a language that's like their 4th, 5th language. And the fact that they can do that coherently, I find amazing. They inspire me. They actually inspire me at just how much they can do.
Finishes with this, and this is
the opportunities that you can get, particularly living and working in a remote community, are just incredible. We seem to have PD a week. There's a saying going around at Maningrida College, which is PD a week. We are constantly having guests come out and run PD. There are PD opportunities in Darwin. I've gone to Adelaide and Sydney just this year to present or to be involved in professional development. From my experience, the professional development that's offered when you're out in a remote community is incredible, and that anyone coming out should grab onto it with both hands and upskill themselves as much as they can while they're out here, because it's certainly not something that's offered everywhere.
Police jackets. The gang.
Bringing up a young family in a community like Maningrida is a really positive thing to do. There is lots of other families out here, so kids have that support, they have that peer network, they get to meet and play with all the other kids in the community. My wife and I feel that they're actually getting a really rich experience that they might not get if they were to live in Melbourne. I know that my kids, we do go back to Melbourne, and they adjust really quickly. They can walk down the streets of Melbourne and you'd think that they grew up there, and yet then they can come out to a place like Maningrida and they just fit in so naturally as well. And I think that's really important for my wife and I, for our kids to be that flexible and have that broad experience of growing up.